Always forward, never back. Those 3 words were spoken by a man limping through the California desert. He was 55 years old. He had an open wound on his leg that made every single step an act of pure will. His companions begged him to stop, to rest, to let others carry the mission forward. And he answered them, always forward, never back. Who was this man, and how did a small, limping friar found the cities that millions of people call home today? To understand him, we need to go back to a small island in the Mediterranean. This is his story. In 1713, in a small village called Petra on the Mediterranean island of Majorca, Spain, a boy named Miguel José was born. His parents were simple farmers. Their home was humble, their faith deep. When young Miguel José first entered the Franciscan convent, he was so small that the older friars exchanged glances of quiet surprise. Nobody looking at that tiny boy could imagine he would one day walk nearly 10,000 miles and found the cities of California. God has always had a habit of choosing the small ones for the greatest things. The Franciscan friars noticed his intelligence early. They educated him, they formed him, and Miguel José grew into the finest philosophy professor at the University of Majorca, Spain. He had prestige, he had comfort, he had a future, and he gave it all up. But from childhood, there was one thing that set his heart on fire every single week: the Mass. When the priest elevated the host, Miguel José could not look away. He felt that Jesus was looking back at him from the altar. That encounter was what made him different. At 16, he entered the Franciscan order and chose a new name, Juniper, in honor of the humblest companion of Saint Francis. But one day, while he was praying before the Eucharist, something shifted everything. What did he hear? One day, while Juniper was praying before the Eucharist, the words of Christ resounded in his heart. Go into all the world and proclaim the gospel. And Juniper knew with absolute certainty that his place was not in the classroom. It was in the new world, in the places where no one had ever heard the name of Jesus. In 1749, at 36 years old, he left Majorca forever. He said goodbye to his parents for the last time. He never saw them again. When Juniper arrived in Mexico, his superiors offered him a mule for the 400-kilometer walk to Mexico City. He refused. St. Francis walked, he said firmly, and so will I. And with his Franciscan sandals, he set off on foot. That was Juniper. He never chose the easy road when there was a road more like the one Jesus walked. Halfway through the journey, an insect bit him on the leg. The wound became infected. It swelled, it festered. The pain was constant and severe. His companions urged him to stop, to ride the mule, to find a doctor. And he said, always forward, never back. That wound never fully healed. For the next 35 years of his life, Juniper walked in chronic pain, limping, always limping, and not once did he complain. And what did he do with that broken leg? Did he stop, or did he keep walking? Juniper spent 9 years as a missionary in the Sierra Gorda Mountains of Mexico. He learned indigenous languages. He built churches with his own hands. He taught people to farm, to read, to write. And every single morning, before any other work began, he celebrated the Holy Mass. That was where he found the strength for everything else. In 1769, at 55 years old, he received the greatest assignment of his life: go and evangelize Alta California, territory that no one had ever evangelized, a wilderness, an unknown, a danger. His younger companions hesitated. How could a 55-year-old friar with a chronically infected leg make that journey? Juniper smiled and said, always forward, never back. On July 1st, 1769, Junipero Serra arrived at the Bay of San Diego, California. The first thing he did was plant a large wooden cross on the hill and celebrate Mass, the first Mass ever celebrated in California, because for Junipero, everything began with the Eucharist. And that was only the beginning. What came next left everyone speechless. Over the next 15 years, Junipero Serra founded 9 missions in California. You know them today as cities: San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Every one of them carries a name he chose. Every one of them was born from a Mass. Every one of them carries his mark. But Junipero was not just founding buildings. He genuinely loved the indigenous people as his own children. He learned their languages. He defended them against soldiers who mistreated them. He traveled to Mexico City to personally demand the viceroy protect their rights. When Junipero preached, he would sometimes become so moved by the passion of Christ that he would strike his own chest with a stone in penance, right there in front of the whole congregation. One day, a man in the crowd stood up and took the stone from his hand and struck his own chest instead, crying out, "I am the sinner, Father, not you." The entire church broke into tears. That was the power of Junipero. He made people feel God. Limping, in pain, often sick, Junipero walked nearly 10,000 miles, always on foot, always forward, never back. But behind all of that endurance, there was a secret. Where did that strength come from? Where did Junipero find the strength to walk 10,000 miles on a broken leg, to never give up, to love everyone even when they rejected him? He said it himself. Every morning, before any other work began, he celebrated the Holy Mass. In the Eucharist, he encountered the living Jesus, real, present, there in his hands. And from that encounter, he went forward with strength for everything. On one occasion, at Mission San Luis Obispo, Junipero was so ill he could barely stand, but he insisted on celebrating Mass. And when he elevated the consecrated host, more than 100 witnesses saw something they could not explain. A soft golden light descended from the ceiling and surrounded Junipero completely. No one spoke, no one moved. It was as if heaven and earth were touching in that small limping friar holding the host in his hands. The Eucharist was his secret. Jesus, alive in the consecrated bread, was his strength to always go forward. In 1784, at 70 years old, Junipero knew his time was ending. His body was spent. The leg, the asthma, the fevers. Decades of sacrifice had consumed him. But before he died, he made one final journey. He visited every mission he had founded to say goodbye to his children. The indigenous people wept as he passed. They all knew it was the last time. On August 28, 1784, Junipero asked to be carried to the chapel. He sat before the tabernacle and fixed his eyes on Jesus in the Eucharist, the same Jesus he had first seen as a child in Majorca, the one who had called him, the one who had sustained him, the one who had walked beside him for every one of those 10,000 miles. Hours later, they brought him back to his cell. He lay down on his plank bed, and with a smile of complete peace, he spoke his last words, "Now to rest." And he gave his soul to God. Pope Francis canonized him in 2015 in Washington, D.C., the first canonization ever held on American soil. He is the patron saint of California and the only Spaniard with a statue in the United States Capitol. Saint Junipero Serra leaves us 3 gifts. 1. You are never too small for God. Junipero was the smallest friar in the convent, and he founded the greatest cities of California. God does not measure your size, he measures your heart. 2. Your difficulties do not stop you, they form you. Junipero's limp did not stop him. It walked with him for 35 years, and with it he covered 10,000 miles. Your own difficulty can become the road, not the obstacle. 3. The Eucharist is the secret of everything. Junipero never went to work without first being with Jesus at Mass. That was the source of his always forward. That same Jesus is waiting for you today, alive, real, in the Eucharist. Do you remember that small boy from Mallorca? The one who was so tiny he surprised the friars? The one who looked at the altar with different eyes? That boy never imagined that his footsteps would reach California, that his missions would become cities, that his name would be written into American history. He only knew one thing from the beginning, that when Jesus calls you, you go, even when it hurts, even when it costs everything. And that the one who walks with Jesus in the Eucharist never runs out of strength. Always forward, never back.